Welcome to episode 2 of Inside the D. It's been a busy week in schools hockey, and yeah, Free State League is on fire at the moment. We're still in Bloemfontein, and this time we are at Jim Fisher High School. Brian, welcome to our second episode.
Yeah, thank you, JD, for the introduction. I must tell you, coming out from the first episode, just want to say thank you to all the viewers out there. It's been a real success story so far, and yeah, what a privilege again to be here this day to chat about hockey in Bloemfontein. It is.
Yeah, fantastic to have the opportunity again. Thank you to the folks here at Jim Fisher High School for having us. It's fantastic to be at this wonderful facility. Let's get straight into the league. Some big games throughout the week. Two of the biggest ones, and let's just get this out the way because everybody has been talking about this. Waranya versus Unisi, one of the most anticipated league games, not just in Bloemfontein or the Free State, but in South Africa. It's the first real go they had each other in a full format. They played each other at the All Girls Festival. Unisi walking away on penalty or on one-on-ones on the shootout, winning there. But this was a fully fixed match, and it was a draw, 1-1. A lot of people, I picked it, I said it'll be close. I actually picked Unisi to go for the win. But Waranya pitched up, played 3 chukkers of fantastic hockey. And it was in their grade 9s and 10s. We spoke about those players where they really stepped up and brought the magic. Cameron Parkin was very good against the old school. Marichal Klute showed us what she's made of. Everybody knows what Marichal Klute is made of. And then it was Eli Klute who combined well with the two of them.
Just JD, Marichal Kraus.
Marichal Kraus. Why do I say Klute all the time?
Because that girl, Klute, Eli Klute,
true,
really had a standout performance. I mean,
so apologies to you, Marichal. Ek beloof ek gaan dit iewers reg kry vir jou. But the three of them combined very well for Waranya. They create a bit of magic in that midfield, and I think that is that's been the catalyst almost for them, is to get that season going again. There was freedom when they played. Kees van Skalkwyk's team has finally clicked, and they've shown us just exactly what they're capable of.
Exactly, and you know, it's all about processes, you know, and trusting your process. And I think for just viewing that game, and I was happy to view it on SuperSport Schools. I couldn't get to the game, but fortunately to SuperSport Schools, I could sit in my office and actually watch that game. But yeah, JD, it was evident to see that they are getting to that synergy point. They had to go through a lot of ups and downs in the year to get to this actual point, and they really delivered a showpiece that was marvelous to actually showcase against a very experienced Unisi team. They've played together for many years, that specific group, so they understand each other, they know each other, they know what makes each other tick to get the best performances out of each other. So for that young Iranian team to step up to the fore and really bring sort of, I believe, one of their best games this season so far, I think speaks a lot about the processes that they've actually gone through, and well done for that, and well done for giving South Africa a spectacle to view and to watch.
It was really close. I was fortunate enough to commentate on that game, and the Chaka one where Waranya really started well. Then you could feel it, you could almost see it, that synergy you're speaking about. They found it and moved the ball nicely. Traditionally playing with those two high-hanging strikers and managing to get some great ball to them, unable to capitalize on in certain instances. They went 1-0 up, and then Storm Harris stepped to the fore late into that third chukker, scored the equalizer, a very good backstick, managing to beat the Waranya keeper, which doesn't happen often.
I must tell you, when I saw that lineup and I saw Storm going for that backstick, it's one of those shots that she really trains a lot, folks. She goes and she will hit about 300 balls on herself on a Sunday afternoon. I know she takes her sister and her dad, Stephen Harris, the legendary cricket umpire that we all see on televisions, on our telly sets. But yeah, she takes them along to the AstroTurf and they just keep on hitting. And you could see it's for those moments, those you get the one opportunity to make a difference. That's why you hit the 300 balls. And I noticed she really works hard on that aspect of her game. And I saw her lining up and I thought, here it comes, she's going to score it, and it went in.
Yeah, it's exactly those, and if you're a youngster listening, if you create the right habits, then somewhere it will click for you and that opportunity will come. And kudos to Storm Harris for scoring the equaliser. It's a big game, a big moment, and she took that. Let's go over to the boys' league of things. So, Jim for sure played against St Andrews, a team we spoke about a lot in our previous episode. That was a 2-2 draw. Okay, that side, this Jim for sure side, is really making people sit up this season. They went to that Tony Godding Festival earlier in the year, down in the Eastern Cape. They were leading against Selborne College, 2-0. Spoke to their coach Graham Seeger, asked him, just how the game played out. He said Selborne had 2 PCs, managed to equalise, and then that he spoke about the 2-goal trap, their side falling into it. But managing to equalise that Selborne and then winning 3-2 in the end. And then the next game, they play against Grey High. Well, Grey High School is probably one of the top 5 sides in South Africa often on a regular basis rather. And they led 1-0, lost that game 3-1 at the end. Started showing glimpses of just how good they are. In the league, they gave Figat Park 6, beat Figat Park 6-2.
Yeah.
And played against St Andrews, a very good St Andrews side, and going 2-2. So what a game that was.
Yeah, and it just speaks a lot about the programs that we have here in Bloemfontein currently, JD, is that it's no longer just a 1 or 2 man show in the league. We've got teams stepping up to the forefront and really schools really investigating in their programs, and you can see it evident now with Jim Fisher stepping up and really being accounted for and playing against what we call your traditionally big hockey schools and really be a force to be reckoned with. And I must tell you, from just beating Figat Park, that's been 2 years ago, they were the league winners, 6-2, and drawing against St Andrews, a very formidable St Andrews first team that we saw against St John's. You and I commented on that game, and we mentioned them in our previous podcast. The way they play, the style of play, and they matched them 2-2. And it just speaks a lot to the programs that we have in Bloemfontein.
Yeah, I think there's a great concern in South African hockey about what happens in the smaller provinces, and I say smaller with a lot of respect, but if you look at the Free State League versus, or the Bloemfontein League versus what you have in Gauteng, in Johannesburg, and you have down in the Western Cape and the Eastern Cape, it probably is a bit small in terms of competitive teams, but the quality of hockey that's come to the fore this season has been really good to watch.
JD, I just want to take us to a quick glimpse to the logs that we have currently here in Bloemfontein, and fortunately for Sportivo, we could actually track some of these results, and Jim Fisher is leading the log at this point in time. Yes, they've played 4 games, trailing by Grey College's HP team. They've played 2 games. Who's in 2nd position currently. St Andrews first team in 3rd, and St Andrews 4th team in 2nd team in 4th position. So it just shows you, listen, teams that we never thought, and that's trailed by Figat Park, all packing or chasing the semi-final spots. So exciting times lying ahead for the Bloem under 18 boys league, where it's really, really competitive, and you chuck in the mix Sentraal that's competitive, and it just looks a rosy colour at this point of time for Bloem under 18 boys.
I want to say this, but the Bloemfontein League needs a Grey College second side, and I spoke to a couple of people throughout the last couple of weeks, and I understand that there's an HP component to what Grey College is trying to do, but in saying that, I also feel that there's 16 boys in the Grey second side that needs to play 7 games in the league on their own. They're not a first side, they're a second team like most teams are. They go to a festival in the beginning of the year. For a Bloemfontein League to be at its best, you need a Grey College second side, and I think that's probably something that Dylan Phillips and them will investigate going into the next season, because the more teams we have in that league, the better it is for everybody. That's 1 game each that each school will play more, and that is what we are missing this season. I've said it, I thought I would keep quiet about it, but I feel strongly about it. So yeah, the Chilies, boys, I hope you guys are back next year, because you bring a different flavour to the Bloemfontein League.
A spicy flavour.
A spicy flavour. You've got your own following, and I hope you guys are back next season. Let's go on to the goal side of things, Brom. I mean, it will be Unisi leading under 18 log. Ronnie will be in 2nd. That's purely based on goal difference. I think Unisi had a superior goal difference going into the league, I think by 2 or 3. And yeah, you'll just run us through that.
Just give me 2 seconds.
Folks, that's why I love having Bram van Wyk with me. He's a guy who's clued up on the Sportivo app, and then on my side, I just love watching hockey on SuperSport schools. So yeah, we complement each other in that way.
Yeah, as it stands, we've got Unisif leading the troops of the year with 31 points, followed by Oranje's first team, second, with 26 points. But they've got one more game in hand. They've only played 5 games so far, so they've got one more game to go. And if I get their full house out there, these two teams would be on equal terms. Then it's going to come down to obviously the goal difference. And in the third position, we've got the Jumfusheer first team girls in third position, followed by the Oranje second team, and followed by Sentraal again. And then you have the 6th, 7th, and 8th. We've got St. Michael's, where Coach Melrick and Coach Sulet is really doing a good job to make them also a competitive powerhouse in this league so far. Yes, and then you get Fija Park, and then lastly we've got the Unisi second team in the last position. So again, it's a really tight contested for that third and fourth position, where it will come down to, it's bottlenecking to who's gonna get into that third, fourth position for the semi-finals. We see Jumfusheer with 16 points, followed by Oranje Meisjes School's second team with 14 points. That's also got a game in hand, and then followed by Sentraal that's sitting on 13 points. So you can see anything can still happen here. These couple of games coming now is going to be crucial for these teams to capitalize on that third and fourth position.
Now, while I listened to the log position, I just kept saying to myself, Marichal Kraus. So I've got your name down now, Marichal. We've got that. We spoke about that last episode as well. But anyways, yeah, thanks for that info. And let's just go back to the clash that took place between JF and the Sentraal. A massive fixture in Bloemfontein hockey. And we're going to run through some of those results. So we're going to go and we'll start with the under 14 boys, where Jumfusheer beat Sentraal by 4 goals to 1.
God, you would never have thought before the game, but I must tell you, from the sideline watching that game, that Jumfusheer team really pitched up on the day. They were competitive, they were playing, and thus far in the season, just following their progress, they weren't as clinical as you would have thought if you look at some personnel in that team. But against Sentraal, they fired. That whole setup just synchronized, they clicked, and they brought their game of the season so far, in my opinion. They really played well to clinch that game 4-1. Although it was a really competitive game, Sentraal had their opportunities to score their goals. Perhaps if 1 or 2 of those balls went in, as we all know in hockey, it misses by a whisker. Didn't happen. JF took the opportunities and they won that game 4-1. What a game to watch.
Okay, then it was Sentraal who got the better of JF for the girls side, winning 2-0. And then the boys side, fantastic draw, 2-2. JF managing to equalize at the end of proceedings.
Yeah, the ebb and flow of that game was really phenomenal to watch, and it's been traditionally a really tough game between the two, from under 14 leading into where they are now. These under 16 games are really, really tightly contested, where Sentraal went up 1-0, followed by JF 1-0. Sentraal went up 2-1, followed by Jumfusheer equalising the scoreline to a 2-2 scenario.
And then over the under 18, it's JF who beat Sentraal 1-0, but perhaps the game of the day was the JF under 18 boys beating Sentraal 4-0. And we're going to pause just at that game for a second. I mean, speaking to Coach Graham Seeger, a couple of players who stand out in that Sentraal side. Captain Gershwin Matebeze in the midfield with Eben Sanders and Zizo Pfeiffer. And then that man Sherman, who's also had a very, very good season, and putting 4-0 past Sentraal took some doing, but the way they're playing hockey at the moment is pretty special.
Yeah, that's the engine. That's the engine of that team, and they really perform. They're really skillful players, JD. If you get the opportunity to go and watch them live, they're really skillful. They work hard, not just on the ball, but off the ball. They understand the game of hockey. Between those four, they just make the other players around them look at ease, relaxed, full of confidence, and they actually make the other players look really, really good. And that's the secret for me with that team at this point in time. It's that they make each other look really phenomenal to watch, and it's 4 guys that runs that engine, but it's about the team for them. It's not about me or anyone else. It's about making each other really look good, and that's what stands out for me, and the secret to the recipe this year for Graham Seeger and his team.
Now let's find out a bit more about the secret to the recipe in both those teams. Graham is going to chat to both captains and coaches following this.
Well, folks, welcome here at the World School Jumfusheer. We've got F&B Classic Clash going on between 2 legendary schools here from Bloemfontein in the form of Jumfusheer and Sentraal, battling out for the to see who can be the king of this clash here. And we are here at the halftime chat, and I'm joined by the blocker captain from Sentraal, Michi Liebenberg. Welcome, Michi. Let me just start. It's absolutely wonderful to have you on show here.
Yeah, it's a huge pleasure. I appreciate it. Hearing this invite got me on my nerves a little bit. I'm still on my nerves a little bit, but I appreciate it. It's actually nice to do something different, having this opportunity.
Michi, let's get right into it and a bit of a tactical chat here. Where did hockey start for you, Michi?
I think maybe grade 1, actually grade O, before going to school. My brother used to play, and we had a mini Astro that time at home, and he was like, come play with me, just come stand on your box, be keeper, and he just to take shots at me with no mercy, and I was supposed to stop it. And then after that, I was like, okay, so when is my turn? And then eventually, we started to switch and change. And then I also fell in love with the idea of hitting it for someone trying to keep the ball, trying to obstruct it, And then I actually liked it. And then from then on, I started playing at grade 1 at Willem Postma. I went to Willem Postma, and that's just opposite of Sentraal. And I started to play, and I played 1 to grade 7, and then from 7 to grade 12 where I'm now. So it's basically the end of my career.
Michi, so it sounds to me that hockey has been part of your life. And what is it of hockey that got you captured? You mentioned to me that you like hitting the ball at the goalkeeper when you were in grade R. Well, what keeps you coming back?
I think the people that play golf will know. If you hit one ball at golf and you hit one shot and it's like a pure shot, you get addicted to that feeling. And I can relate it to hockey. If you come back to hockey and you let's say you give an exceptional pass, 100% pass, you get addicted to that feeling, and that craving always bites you, and it always wants you to come back. It basically forces you to come back because you get addicted to that feeling to do it every time 100%, feeling to hit top bins every day. But it's obviously not possible, but you get that addiction that starts.
And what does it mean for you personally to, first and foremost, to play for the blocker at Sentraal? That's now, for viewers out there, that's the first team name for the Sentraal boys and girls. What does it mean to you?
I mean, obviously it's a huge honor. Starting from a grade 8 boy, playing under 14, and we used to be forced to go watch the first team. And I thought to myself, imagine one day wearing that jersey, and playing for that team. And I was like, maybe it can be reality. And I don't know what it meant to me the first time when I put that jersey on in grade 10. And then the first time I put that jersey on and I went onto the field, and so many people, so many spectators watching you, and then you start to realize, this is actually a big thing, and it takes guts to do this. It's not just some Mickey Mouse thing. It's actually stats to play for a first team.
And how many years have you played for the Sentraal first team?
It's 2 years. So I started in grade 10. This is now my 3rd year, and I think I'm now on 76 caps. Yeah.
All right. So, and being the captain, it takes a lot of sacrifices, and it takes a lot of. You mentioned the word guts.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be the captain of that team that you've played in your fixture yesterday against Jumfusheer?
I mean, it takes a lot. I want to focus actually on the mental thing, because when you look at a captain standpoint from a mentality aspect, you need to think a whole lot differently than a regular player, because a regular player has one job and he continues to do that one job over and over and over till someone tells him maybe that's wrong, and then he takes the comment and then he converts it. But as captain, it's almost like you need to manage under a manager, so you need to think a lot better. So when you're talking to someone, you must understand your influence you have on them is a lot larger than you think, and you must think in a way that will build them up, but also in a way to not discard them of the regular thoughts, but to turn them those bad thoughts they have already into a more positively thing, encouraging them to believe in you as a captain. So yeah.
Michi, I want to get to another point here. Obviously, you had to face with some decisions in your when you were end of grade 7. Where are you going? What school are you going? What made you choose Sentraal?
Okay, so it was actually, I think, a lot of a much larger thing than it actually seems like. My brother went to Hoërskool Sentraal, but he wasn't a sports person. He was a lot more academic orientated, and I obviously was a big sports person. And at the time at Willem Postma, the grade 7, the under 13A coach was the coach of Sentraal's first team, Coach Ruben Kutsia. And at that time, I had a lot of friends in Sentraal, in Willem Postma, that was going to Grey. And obviously in Bloemfontein, Grey is the top of the top for any sport, I must say. So it was a big decision, making that decision, because I played Southern Free State under 13B, I think, I can't remember. And all of my friends in that Southern Free State team were going to Grey, and they were all basically invited to Grey. I don't think Grey gives scholarships, but they were invited, and I sat with that decision with my parents, thinking, everybody is going to Grey, maybe one guy is going to Sentraal, all my friends are going to Grey, I don't know, and maybe in the long run, Grey would benefit me for the hockey aspect, because they do stuff on a much higher level. But at the end of the day, I also took it in a more reality aspect, thinking if I go to Sentraal, let's say hockey maybe don't work out, obviously want hockey to work out, you can still do academically good and you can still rely on a plan B. So at the end of the day, my parents, I think, maybe encouraged me, or tuig my, say that maar so, and then I decided, I'll go to Sentraal.
Okay. Michi, tell me, you've got a number on your back that you play with. Just let the viewers out there know what's your number, and is there some sort of symbolic meaning for that number?
Okay, so I play with the number 77 on my back, and when I was in grade 10, I have a good relationship with my grandfather, and I called him. We had trials that week, and after the trials, with the first, the team list came out, and I was like, I'm first team. And I called him, and I always call him uncle. I said, uncle, Angs, ek's eerste span. Hy sê van, rarig. Ek sê, ja. En toe sê ek van, but I have a problem. We need to pick a number. En hy sê van, and then he asked me, how old am I? Sê ek van, opa is 77. Sê van, that's your number, 77. So I picked 77, and it looked cool, and it sticked.
Oh, that's good to know, Michi. It's always nice to know, understand the story about the symbolic meaning of players' numbers that they have on their back. It's not just, for the viewers, it's not just a number, there's a meaning after that number. Michi, you mentioned earlier on that you said this is now the end of your career in grade 12. Is that really the end, or do you have any aspirations going forward in your career?
Yeah. So it's my high school end of the career. I obviously plan to go further varsity, play hockey for varsity. That's the next level. That's a big dream for me. I want to play in that major league. If you compare it to high school hockey, it's a lot different, and I like it a lot more. It's highly intense, highly tactical, and I think that's when my brain starts turning, when stuff in hockey gets highly tactical and you need to think more. And I think in that environment where you play for varsity, university, whatever, it gets a lot more complex. And I'm extremely addicted to that idea of complex tactical play. So I'm 100% certain I'm going further with hockey.
And any aspirations to play for the green and gold one day?
Yeah, obviously. I think that's every hockey player's dream. Everyone that starts to get a love of hockey. I think that's that's a major it's the highest of goals every hockey player can set. But I mean, why not? I think that would be a major honor. Imagine, it's like the same feeling I get when I was in grade 8, thinking, imagine if I can wear that first team jersey. Imagine I can wear that green and gold. So yeah.
As long as there are dreams, ladies and gentlemen, as long as there are dreams, there's hope. Michi, we're going to your 8-second shootout here. Okay, you're going to get 5 questions. Don't think about them, just answer.
Right.
Favorite stick?
Naked Dream Plus.
Favorite shoes?
Mizuno Leopardas. I don't know how to express it. It's a hockey shoe.
Pasta or steak?
Steak.
This is going to be an interesting one, yeah. I'm going to fire to you now.
Goeie.
Koffsies or pikker?
Koffsies.
And then lastly, blue or green?
Blue.
Michi, thank you very much. That's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen, with our exclusive interview here with the captain of Sentraal's first team boys, Michi Liebenberg. Catch you on the other side. Folks, I'm joined in studio here from Jumfusheer Hoërskool this morning by the sister duo, Stefanie Frey and her sister Janine van Eden, the captain of this Jumfusheer Ladies First Team 2025. Welcome. Thank you for being here. It's an honor to have you. So I'm going to get right into the tactical chat there. I'm starting with the coach, Coach Stefanie. Where did coaching start for you?
Thank you, Bram, and thank you for having us. It's a privilege. I think coaching starts as a player. You're once a player, you pick up a stick, you fall in love with the game. As you go through the ranks and you play for various teams, you learn a lot. And when you get to a point where you're a teacher and a coach, you get to implement what you've learned to new players, and you get to learn with them. So I think I fell in love firstly as a player with the sport, and then, like I said, as you learn, you get to a point where you want to start teaching and start coaching to get across what you've learned to the next generation of players.
Stefanie, it's interesting that you say you fell in love as a player, which brings me to our next point. Where did playing start for you as a coach?
I think it started where it starts for everyone. You're in grade 1, you pick up a stick, you pick up a ball, you participate in sport, and then I played for various teams in the primary school, Fichard Park Primary School, and then you go to high school and you sort of start, I don't want to say specializing, but you choose a sport. And for me it was always hockey, and I went through the ranks in Fichard Park High School. I played for the first team of Fichard Park from my grade 9 to matric year, and also in high school I played for various Southern Free State teams. I also played for CUT's varsity team in my matric year. So that's where it all started as a player. And then after school or after varsity, I played a bit of varsity hockey, mostly hostel, but you start to realize that the younger players are so much faster, so much quicker, and your knowledge of the sport is so much better off as from a coaching point of view rather than on the field itself.
Okay, and where did you actively actually start coaching? What was your first team? Did you win any leagues, any matches with them?
I think actively I started coaching while I was still at varsity. I coached a few primary school teams, and it was such a privilege working with the grade 1s, grade 2s, so you get to start from where it starts. You need to teach them how to hold the stick, how to dribble, what the rules are, and it starts with mini hockey, and then you do your courses. And I'm a teacher here at Jumfusheer School, so we all required to do extracurriculars, and because I had the hockey background and I had the courses, I started actively coaching here at Jumfusheer, first with under 14 girls. I think it was in 2016 that I started here, and we came third that year, but I also coached the Southern Free State under 14A girls that year, and we did really well. I can't exactly remember where we placed, but we did well at the regional tournament. The next year I coached the under 18B regional team for Southern Free State, and we placed 5th at the IPT. And then as of this year, I'm coaching the first team here at Jumfusheer.
And how is that going for you?
Oh, it's going really well. I enjoy the girls. I enjoy the intensity of the first team. I enjoy the practice sessions, the league, the tours that we go on. No, I'm just loving it completely. And you get to work with players that already know how to play, that are good players, and it's such a privilege being part of their journey as a player.
And obviously, you've had your clash last night against the old rival Sentraal. Result in that game? What happened? Elaborate a bit.
Good game. It was a really good game. I think it could have gone either way, but at the end, I'm glad to say that Jim Forshire took it with 1-0. In the last chaka, I think in the last 10 minutes, my girls managed to finish, and I'm very proud of them. I'm very proud of how they showed up, and under difficult circumstances. It was late, it was cold, but they showed up, and yeah, I'm very proud of the win.
Janine, how does it feel for you to have your sister as your coach?
I love it personally, and it's not the first time she's my coach. She also coached me in Southern Free State when I played under 18C team, and she was also my grade 1 coach. She learned me how to hold my stick, and I just love it because it's another bond you have with your coach, and we can talk about the game and analyze the game, and then I just feel I learn more about it, and it's fun because we go on tours, and yeah, I just love it. I think it's a privilege to be in my matric year that my sister coaches me.
And a question I think all of us wants to know, how do you differentiate? How do you get the line between, now I'm your coach player, and then we also sisters? How do you get that right? How do you get the balance right?
Well, I think it started at the under 18C team there. Because the people didn't know we were sisters, so I had to respect and say coach, yes coach. But it was hard for me the first time. And then when it came to this first team, the first time she told me to do something, or I did something, and then she said it was wrong. But then I told her it worked. And I think when my mom yelled at me from the sideline and said, "Don't backchat your sister," I think my mind shifted from she's my coach, and on the field I have to respect her as my coach, not my sister.
So your mom is the real referee over here to ensure
Yes.
that balance line is intact.
Yes.
Janine, how many years have you played for this first team of Jim Forshire, and what does it mean to play for the Jim Forshire first team girls?
In grade 9, I got first team. I think it was 2021, and it means a lot. It's another intensity. It's great to play with players how to know how to play hockey, who knows the structure of the game, and it just means a lot. There's a lot of weight on your shoulders, but when you step onto that field, you know your first team, and you don't stress because you know what you're doing, and it's a privilege to play for the first team for so long. Yes.
And being a captain?
Being a captain is amazing. It's also a lot of weight on your shoulders, but I think because I am so much next to the hockey field with my sister and everything, I know how it works, and I'm not new to this. I have a lot of knowledge by playing in the Southern Free State team indoor hockey with Bloom Bears. I think I can pass a lot of knowledge down to the younger players, the juniors in the team, and with the privilege of my sister being the coach, she learns me a lot of things, and I see things that the other teams don't, and I analyze games because it's my last year and I have so much passion for this sport. I really want to help the team to strive and be the best captain, that when I go that people will miss me.
So just 20 years from now down the line, and you just mentioned your sister learns you and she teaches you a lot of things. What would be one of the one thing that would stand out the most for you that she's taught you perhaps as a player on the park? That you can give over to your if you become a coach, or to your children one day. What would be the one thing that stands out for you?
Okay, so my sister is very tough on the field and off the field, and I think the most important thing that I will teach my children or the children I coach will be that everything is hard and you just have to stand up. The only way to the other side is through, and then you just have to keep going and practice, and that you can't always have the best game. You can just make the next game better. Yes.
That is some powerful
Yes.
advice there, Janine, and I'm sure if you can take that along in your life, you'll become fairly successful in what you do. Stefanie, from here onwards, I just want you to tell me a little bit on what is this tradition between Sentraal and JF. the rivalry? Where did it start, and where do you think this clash can go in the future?
It started a few years ago, actually. I think it was Mr. Dion van Wyk from Sentraal. It was his brainchild, and he had this idea of having an annual clash between two Titan schools in Bloemfontein, Hoërskool Jim Forshey on the one side, and then Sentraal on the other. And we got F&B in as a sponsor for this classic clashes, which makes it so much better. And it's been a tradition. Our kids look forward to it. It gives them a sort of sense of, I don't want to say battlefield mentality, but it's so much better than just playing on a Tuesday or a Wednesday and not playing the rugby, the netball, the hockey, all the games on the same day or on the same weekend. It brings the school together in unity. I think we unite as two schools with the support from the different schools that we have, but it also brings us together as two big Afrikaans schools in Bloemfontein. It brings us together in sport and sportsmanship, and it brings the staff together, and actually we work together to get these kids the opportunity to play, to get the coaches the opportunity to coach, to get everyone involved, parents, sponsors, and it's all part of the journey. It's all part of the journey for players to become better versions of themselves.
I just saw the program for the whole entire week, and it looks like there's a lots of activities throughout the week where the schools get involved. A bit of what you call it geesvang, spirits catching. If that's the right pronunciation in English. How do you get your team to stay focused in all these off the field activities that take place?
A big conversation I have with my players at the beginning of the year is the one about accountability, and discipline. You're chosen for the first team because you are, on paper, supposed to be one of the best 16 players in your school. So it's a privilege, but it's also a responsibility. And if you choose to take up this position, you are going to be held accountable for each practice that you miss. You're going to be held accountable for the mistakes that you make in a game. You're going to be held accountable for the things that you say about your team, about your coach, about the school, about the sport. And you're going to have to be required to be disciplined. So if it means missing a geesvang or a spirit building exercise for a hockey match or a hockey practice, that's the sacrifice that you'll have to make as a player.
Janine, you've obviously got a number on your back that you play with.
Yes.
Is there any symbolic meaning for that number on your back?
I'm number 6. There isn't really a symbolic meaning. My birthday is on 6 November, and when I was a junior, I played number 16. But then I didn't want to get rid of the number 6 because it meant something to me, but I didn't want to be number 16. I wanted to have a higher rank, so I just think number 6 because it felt right.
And tell me, from here onwards, any plans of progressing into, still staying in hockey? Obviously, your schooling career is coming to an end now. You still want to play? You're still going to go forward in hockey?
Yes, of course I'm going to go forward in hockey. We talked about it a lot, and I feel that you should stay active, and I love the sport, and I really don't want this to be my last year I pick up a stick. So I thought about action hockey and playing under 21 Koffsies, and I am going to UFC Koffsies University. They already got my application, and they did accept me like previously.
That's good news.
Yes, that is good news. So I think I'm going to play for Koffsies hockey, and if I can, the hostel hockey. Just keep active and enjoy the sport that I like.
That's amazing to hear.
Yes.
We're going to our next segment, you two ladies. We're going to go to what we call an 8-second shootout. So I'm going to give you 5 questions, and you just answer. No thinking, you just keep on firing with the questions. Okay, Stefanie, you're the coach. I'm going to start off with you.
Great.
Light blue or green?
Green.
Pizza or steak?
Steak.
Favorite memory as a coach?
All the post goals, top corner, left corner. I love it.
Favorite shoe brand?
Adidas.
And then, lastly, favorite brand of car?
Ford.
Thanks, Stefanie. Your shootout has been concluded. Janine, it's over to you.
Okay.
Blue or black?
Black.
Steak or pasta?
Pasta.
Favorite stick?
Grys.
Shin pads, no shin pads.
Shin pads.
Mouth guard, no mouth guard.
No mouth guard.
Captain, no captain.
Captain.
Thank you, Janine. Ladies, thank you for joining today. It's been an absolute honor to have you on show. And good luck for the season that lies ahead for the two of you. I know there's still a lot of games that's still ahead. And we really hope that we will go from strength to strength in your partnership as coach, captain, but also within your team setup.
Thank you, Rob. Thanks for having us.
Folks, welcome back here. We are joined by the Jumfashire first team boys coach Graham Seeger and their captain Gershom Matabesi. Colleagues, thank you very much for joining us. And it's an absolute honor to have you on the cast today. Graham, starting off with you, being the coach, where did coaching, why did you get involved with coaching? You've been involved with coaching for many, many years. I know as a lighty, I remember seeing you next to the park already, coaching teams. Just take us through your journey. Where did it start for you and how did you end up here at Jumfashire?
Well, basically I started in Standard 5 in the old days. Standard 5 playing hockey. I had an English teacher by the name of Des Donald. And
Des used to be my first team coach as well. So Des, if you're listening, there's a massive shout out here.
So and he said to us one day in English class, you boys will be at the hockey practice this afternoon. And yeah, that's where my hockey career started. So yeah, I represented Free State from under 13 all the way to men's. And yeah, then I left to East London after school and I played for Bowes there, Beacon Bay Country Club and also the Selbornian Club. And then I came back to Bloem in 2010 and yeah, I started coaching at Brebner High School. That's where my coaching career started.
In Bloemfontein actively.
In Bloem,
and the journey in Bloemfontein, teams that you've coached here, how did you get to, just take us through your journey from 2010 right up until today where you've now coached your Jumfashire team that won the Sentraal Classic Clash yesterday 4-0 if I'm not mistaken.
Correct, yeah.
Just take us through that journey.
Well, when I started in 2010 at Brebner High School, yeah, I coached the girls. There was one boys team, only first team, who coached them, but that only lasted for one season. And the boys decided to go play soccer. So I coached the girls for close to 11 years at Brebner High School. And then I also coached a year at CBC in Bloem. And then Jumfashire offered me a good post, yeah. So yeah, that's where I am. This is my second year now, coaching the boys. And it's been an adventure. I'm enjoying it.
Tell me, but I recall you were also involved with the Oranje Meisie School program at a stage.
Yes, yeah. I coached there on and off for basically 5 to 6 months. I was just helping them out with their under girls 16 season D teams, and yeah, we did well there. We both got to the finals, and one won, and the other one came second. So yeah, it was also a good adventure there. A proper school, well set up. I have a lot of respect for Gijsie, the head coach there. He's doing a very good job there as well. And yeah, and then like I said, Jumfashire offered me a great post here, and that's where I am, and I'm enjoying it.
Graham, just on your love for coaching, something must have triggered to say, listen, I want to be a hockey coach, and I've got aspirations to go deeper and farther on with my coaching career. But what was that one thing that stood out for you to actually take on the role as a hockey coach?
Well, the strange thing about is when I started at Brebner High School, it was all about winning as a young coach. All the coach wants to do is win, win, win. And I lost a couple of big games and a couple of seasons that I got big hidings and that. And I realized it's not just about winning. It's about changing these players' lives. And it's all about your respect. You respect your coaches, you respect your umpires, you respect your opponents that you're playing with. And that's what I've drilled into Jumfashire first team now, is it's not just about winning. There's a bigger picture in coaching. And I'm slowly getting through to the boys now that once you have respect and you got your respect for your coaches and your parents and everything like that, and you go a bit further like that, the picture becomes much bigger. And for me, it's not just about winning. Yes, winning's nice, but it's how they develop as a player. not just on the field, off the field as well.
100%. I agree. Being a coach myself, I 100% agree with your statement out there. It's all about being impactful,
Yes.
and turning people's lives for the
Correct.
better.
Yeah.
Gershon Matabesi, the captain of the Jumfashire first team boys. Welcome.
Thank you.
I want to know, Gershon, for you as a player, where did hockey and why did hockey start for you?
My hockey began in grade 2. My mother bought me a stick and I didn't know what to do with the stick, but as soon as I grabbed that stick and hit the ball, I knew this is the sport for me. Since then I've been playing hockey, and 2 or 3 years just past that I discovered Southern Free State hockey. There's where I knew I have a passion for hockey, to play it all out and to develop myself in the sport.
On your decision making, you obviously had to make a lot of decisions when you were end of grade 7. Which high school are you going to go to? What made you come to Jumfashire?
Jumfashire reached out to me. They said I must come to the school to have an interview. I came to have an interview at Jumfashire, and then since then I played hockey for Jumfashire in grade 8. It was my first choice. I wanted to go to grade, but Jumfashire had my heart from the beginning.
I want to go to your game last night. Yes. You played against the Sentraal block of first team boys, and as I take it, you guys won that game.
Yes.
I understand there's a big rivalry between Jumfashire and Sentraal. Just what does it mean to be involved in a fixture like this F&B Classic Clash? What does it mean to be involved in such a fixture for you at your age?
It's a great privilege to be involved in such a big Classic Clash against Sentraal. It's great to play against them. I played last year also against them, and it was just great to play against them. I'm very honored to be in such a, how can I say, tournament.
Playing for this team, 2025. What's the thing of your team that really makes you fire and click? Because we saw last night in your game, you guys really played some attractive hockey. What's the thing that makes you click as a team?
The thing that makes us click in the team, I can say, is Coach Graham. When on the field, he talks to us, gets into our heads. Then that's where we play together. We always connect on the field, on and off the field. That's what I love about this team. We're always composed and we play JF hockey, and that's what I like.
And what is JF hockey?
JF hockey is playing with respect on the field, discipline and composure.
I must say, it was really evident last night. The game I watched, it was a titanic battle between the two teams. And you obviously stepping out there, scoring a few goals. Just take us through that.
I actually thought I was going to miss both of them, but the stress was real after my glasses broke. And then I went up again, and I told myself, now I have to bring the team up, get the tempo up, put some goals in so we can win this. And
yeah, I must tell you, I watched that game and I was really impressed with your composure, your stick work, your handwork. It was good to watch. It leads me to my next point. I heard a bird whistle in my ear that you were selected for the Southern Free State and 18A boys.
Yes, coach, I'm selected for the Southern Free State.
Is that your first A-team selection for Southern Free State? And what's the aspirations for your selection in that Free State team? Is there any aspiration to go forward to play for South Africa, the green and gold?
Yes, my goal is to get SA team while I am under 18A now. It's closer to get the SA team. I really want to play for my country.
And what do you think is the characteristics that you need to actually get seen or selected for the SA schools team?
To play your heart out and always stay composed on the field, and to not rush the process but trust the process all through.
Thanks, Gershon. If you're listening to this podcast, that's some real insightful advice from a young player. And it's evident it's a lot of maturity on your shoulders, and I guess that's why you've been selected as the captain. Graham, we're going to go over to our 8 seconds. I'm going to start with you as the coach. Okay, so how it's work? I'm just going to ask you 5 questions. Fire them at you and just keep on giving the one-liners back to me. Okay. Favorite food?
Hamburgers.
Movie or Netflix? Movie at cinema or Netflix at home?
At home. Netflix at home.
At home.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite brand? Stick brand.
Adidas.
Favorite clothing brand?
Favorite?
Clothing brand.
Nike.
And then green or blue?
Green.
Okay, should we going over to you? Your favorite stick?
Bravo.
Shin pad, no shin pads.
Shin pads.
Mouth guard, no mouth guard.
No mouth guard.
Netflix movie or cinema movie?
Netflix movie.
And then braai or pizza?
Braai.
And then hockey or soccer?
Hockey, definitely. Hockey.
Thanks, gentlemen. Thank you for joining our podcast today. You've been absolute marvelous guests, and good luck for the season that's lying ahead for you. I know there's still a few big games lying ahead, and we from Inside the D will be following you guys and your progress, and we're looking forward to see what the season unfolds for you as a group, as a coach, as a captain, and obviously as a team. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Bram. Thanks a lot.
Welcome back, folks. Very insightful interviews, those were. Some lovely coaches and awesome kids. I think we've kind of forget that mostly it's all about the type of human being you're sending into the world as well. Part of your coaching responsibility, and phenomenal players in the making and even better people. Enjoy that, Brom.
Absolutely. It's always nice to pick their brains and just see what they're about, who they are, where they come from, JD. So those sort of insights are really, really nice to experience and to explore and to bring out to the people out here. So that when we watch the game of hockey, we can actually understand the people that plays that game. And they're always just human beings trying to have fun and enjoy what they are doing. And may that be when we watch these games, may that be our motivation for spectators, supporters to understand that. And to celebrate in their small victories and their small successes to build these players and coaches up to even higher heights.
Okay, Rob, just you mentioned that spectators and coaches and all the likes. Umpires, quickly. Let's have a quick technical chat about something. Watching hockey, especially the youngsters, and I'm talking under 13 and younger, when that long corner hit is awarded, the ball has to move how far?
5 meters, JD. 5 meters, it's got to move 5 meters, and a meter is a meter. We all know it's a meter. So it's got to move. If you want to put yourself into perspective, you look at the dotted line on the edge of the D to the solid line, that's your 5 meters. And sometimes spectators and players and coaches for that matter, we sort of miss that final meter that the ball needs to travel. But yes, JD, the ball needs to travel 5 meters before it can actually go into the circle.
Folks, there's a quick technical segment in terms of umpiring and rules for this episode. Bram, it's been great having you on. Folks, if you are watching this and you're watching a bit of the snippets or the full episode, make sure you like and subscribe our page. Please comment on our page of where you would like us to be filming. Maybe we'll be inside your D for the next episode. Bram, great catching up with you. And we'll catch you guys on our next episode. It's been lovely having you. Take care.